What's up, boys?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. How about y'all?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
I'm
How?
Max, by the way. I'm Aiden's great friend and co-host of this.
Yeah,
Glad
nice.
to have you on.
Yeah, so this is my best friend. Like I grew up with this kid, and so I was like, all right, I'm not starting this unless you're doing it with me. Uh,
Right.
so we got into this. You know, had to do it.
Yeah.
Had to do it. So yeah. So guys, without further ado, we got the Druw Jones episode for you guys. Did not think it was gonna happen, to be honest, but I at least not yet. Thought it would take a while, but you guys saw the Instagram story. I was like, had to shoot my shot. Got it. Got it. But why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll get right into the episode.
Well, I'm Druw Jones, first round pick for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 2022 draft this year. Currently in rehab right now, not doing any baseball activity, just waiting for the next season to start up.
Yeah, I mean, you addressed like the first thing we kind of wanted to just quick talk about, get out the way, but how is your shoulder? Like, how are you doing?
I'm getting better. Started throwing and catching this month, and then I'll start hitting next month. So just kind of, it's a slow process, but injuries take time. So
Yeah, good to hear. That's always what you want to hear, And I know it's not fun to talk about injuries, so we didn't want to like spend the entire time talking about that and everything. Just wanted to get that out the way. But yeah, that's perfect. So good to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. So off the bat, obviously everybody knows watching this. Grew up, your dad, star player. So can you just walk through a little bit on like what it was like just growing up surrounded by him and the baseball and how like maybe he shaped your mentality or your love for the game?
I mean, obviously, like when you're younger, you don't get to travel as much with. I didn't get to travel as much because I was doing school and things like that. But when I was around, I mean, you can just tell like everybody has a different mentality when you get up to that point. You gotta be very, very mentally tough to make it that far. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to get to that point. So, you just have to be ready whenever that time comes. When you got to make sure you're grounded and ready to take on the next level.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, like you said, there's a different mentality that comes with that because you know that your dad accomplished a lot. And was there any pressure? Like, what was it like trying to, always train to maybe not live up to that, obviously, because he had a great career and I'm sure you will too, but that's not like your goal is to be the best you. And what was it like being pushed by someone like him? Because he obviously did great things in the major leagues and not many people can say that they've accomplished what he has.
My dad never really he never really, pushed me, but like obviously he wanted me to play baseball, but he never really pushed me to he never really like pushed me to be as good as him. He always just tells me to, like you said, just be the best version of yourself because that's all you can do. I mean, you can try and replicate somebody, but you're never going to be that person. So you just got to keep being yourself. And I mean, like I said, he just tells me to be myself every day, and that's what I encourage everybody else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So obviously, besides him, like, what are some players that you look up to, like as role models, or some players that you like model your game off of?
Mike Trout is definitely one of those guys that I definitely watch all the time. I mean, he's probably one of the, if not the best player of all time, But I mean, he just goes out there and he plays hard every day. You got to respect the hustle that he puts into the game every day and all the hard work he puts in to be the best version of himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I like Mike Trout a lot, and I've watched a lot of Ken Griffey, and like I see I see similarities just between every kind of all the great center fielders and all the great outfielders in general. I think they all have the same. They all model their game after each other, kind of, and I like that answer kind of gets brought up a lot. I feel like that's the one answer, especially in today's game. Like if you're looking at someone and you're an outfielder, like Mike Trout is that example that everyone should follow. But also, I think where watching your highlights, I see a little bit of your dad as well. Obviously, I know he did play a lot of, left field, right field, corner outfield, a little bit third base as well sometimes. I think he was there for a little bit. And I just like I see the footwork and the resemblance in fielding a lot. And I think that's like a big part of your game. It's just you see it a lot more in households like where someone has grown up and played in the big leagues. It's prominent.
Right. I mean, you follow that. I mean, obviously you kind of pick up on the stuff that they do because I mean, obviously you grow up around them and see what they do all the time. So, I mean, just playing outfield, like I guess just playing outfield and playing the same position as him, like kind of helps because you get it a little bit naturally. But I mean, obviously you still got to work hard and push yourself to be the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So just jumping right off that, we got a lot of questions on the story that we posted, and a lot of people are asking like how do you describe your mentality with dealing with pressure and failure?
Um, I mean, you're gonna fail playing baseball. I mean, you look at the stats of everybody, and obviously, like the best players don't even hit 500. Like you don't even get a hit half the time, and most people don't even get a hit a third of the time. So it's kind of like you just gotta play. You just gotta play hard. Mistakes are gonna happen. You're gonna fail. You're not gonna have a hit in a lot of games. You might strike out 4 times in a lot of games. You're gonna not play good eventually. Like you just gotta just move on. Just take it as the next day you're gonna play better because you can't get much worse than the day before, right? So you just gotta continue to keep pushing yourself and just keep going, not just give up because one day, you just gotta keep playing and keep pushing yourself.
Yeah. And do you think that the pressure of like being one of the top prospects and having a big platform and a following would like ever affected that? Like even just the fact that like you get people out in the stands, and especially in the overrated clip that went viral, like people come out there just to like just put pressure on you and like scream at you, heckle you, and obviously, especially in that clip, you don't let it get to your head. I mean, that was a bomb. It went viral, obviously. Everybody's seen it, I'm sure, watching this. But like, what is the process like stepping into a box, and like how do you tune that out? What's your way to do that?
I mean, when I play, I just like to go out there and have fun. I mean, I'm not going out there and I'm like having a killer mentality, like, oh, we got to beat these guys. Like, obviously you want to win, but you got to go out there. The first thing is to have fun. Like, you can't like pressure yourself into beating another team because then you're going to make mistakes and have flaws when you just need to go out there and relax and have fun. And like that stuff, I think that stuff is fun. Like, that's the whole point of playing sports. You got to have people out, like people that are against you, eventually. So I think it's fun. I don't encourage it. I don't encourage people to go out there and talk trash, but I mean, I just like having fun. I mean, when you get into the box and you hear that stuff, you just kind of just gotta like just focus on what you're doing. Just focus on what you've been practicing on the entire week leading up to that game.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, as a in high school, you don't see as much as you don't see as many clips as you're going to see, but I'm sure it definitely showed in that clip, and I'm sure that it shows in other clips. Like you see in like all the highlights so far of all these top prospects, they're so well trained in that. Is there anything that like the guys over like where like MLB develops and like at these events where you're going to like area code and PDP, like do these guys talk to you about like the mental game, or like is it more just like physical stuff? Like I want to know a little bit more about that leading up to the draft and that process.
I mean, when you go to all those different camps and things like that, like area code and the perfect game stuff and all that stuff, that's more like showcase. So you're going out there and showcasing your skills. And then you can obviously ask questions to the guys that are in the dugout and guys that you meet, like guys that are like around, like all the different scouts and things like that. But mainly when you ask them questions, it kind of just depends on the player, because a lot of people know what they want to do mentally, and a lot of guys need to learn what they need to do physically, and vice versa. But when I go, I mean, I like to ask more mental questions about like, what could I have done that would have made a better outcome, like on a certain swing or a certain pitch that I swung at and things like that, versus like somebody asking like what to do, like when a ball's in a certain position and things like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it just depends. And then when you go to those MLB develop stuff, it's just all coaching. It's coaches telling you what they did when they played, and they're trying to help you become the best version of yourself along the way and then you got to also ask questions too. I mean, sometimes some guys, it comes more naturally to them, like certain things, but then obviously there's other things that don't come as natural that they got to work on. So there's a lot of coaches there that help you with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know a few people that go to some of the events, but I don't know like all the stuff that goes down there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes down at these events and leading.
It's just play. A lot of it's just play and practice. It's just you're gonna go out there and coaches are gonna tell you some things, and you might not like what they're saying, but you gotta take a little bit of what they say that can help you, and then some of the stuff that they say might not help you either. Like it's just you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. Like some things you can add into your game, and some things you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the kids watching will love all the tips that you're giving them. However, like off of that, the most like requested question that we got was about kids like growing up, like they're not that noticed, or they're smaller players, and they want to know like what they could do to help get their name out there and to get them on the board. Like, do you have any tips for them?
I mean, most guys that I know, you can post to Twitter, just tag like perfect game and things like that. And some colleges that you're looking at maybe. But my advice is just to go out there and play in all the tournaments you can. When I was younger, I think from like 12 to about 15, I was playing like maybe like 10 to 12 tournaments in a summer, and that's pretty much your entire summer at that point, because they turn into like week-long tournaments. So just going out there and playing almost every day and just being yourself, being a good leader, being a good teammate. That's what college coaches love to see, is you being a good teammate, and everybody appreciates that, because then they show that you're more like developmentally, like you're able to be a part of a team and not just be by yourself and try and impress people by yourself. You got other people that you can keep accountable and things like that.
Yeah, and to build off of that question, there were a few questions like, is there an age, like what's too young to be doing these showcases, and are these showcases, these perfect game showcases, like worth the money that they are?
I mean, obviously they're getting like, there's a lot more opportunities now, because they're adding more and more showcases for younger players. I mean, it kind of just depends on what you want to do. If you really want to take it seriously, you should start when you're younger. I mean, I wouldn't say anything below 10, maybe. 10's like when I started playing travel baseball, and then I started getting into showcases when I was 14. But that's when showcases started at 14. It was like, that was the first showcase you could do. I would probably say for guys now, I'd probably say start around like 13, like right before you're about to go to high school. And then your high school will be able to like help you get into other colleges and things like that.
Yeah. So like I've done these showcases also, and it's not just about putting your name out there. It's like it's first of all, it's a lot of fun. You really bond with the team, but I know for some people, like they're pretty expensive, and you need like people to commit. Like your whole family has to commit to it. I know a lot of people, they don't really have the money or the time to do these things. But like what I would say also, if you can't afford that, is to really try to, like with your high school, and really work hard for your high school ball, especially if like you're in an area like Florida or Georgia or Texas.
Yeah,
like, you're gonna get your name out there.
Yeah, I mean,
in high school.
obviously, like not everything is showcases either. Like there's obviously like other times when scouts will be there and they can come and see you play. It's not just the showcases that are going to get you somewhere. The showcases get your name out there, and then you play after that. I mean, I would only suggest going to like one or two maybe, and then just keep playing, because when you go to those showcases and you perform, they blast your name out there, and then you get invites to stuff that becomes free. Like stuff that, like the bigger showcases that you don't have to pay for, that you just pay for the flight down there, and they give you all the gear and stuff like that, and then you perform in front of more people. It's like a process. You just got to keep working hard and just keep getting to like different levels and things like that.
Yeah. So that was great. Like that was good tips. I think a lot of people will like that, and they'll be able to use that to kind of get their names out there. I know a lot of our audience is like high school kids, like younger high school kids, and in my area it's like small schools, so that would be helpful for a lot of the kids watching from my area. Now, to move on from that, I have a question that I haven't really asked anyone yet, so I don't know if this is gonna like fit into the podcast, but like what kind of like media, like books or like like podcast, TV, like what do you watch like to keep you kind of calm, like when you're doing, in your free time, like what helps you out, and like what's your routine like mentally?
I'm not a huge podcast person. I should probably start, but I mean, I just listen to music that helps me calm down. Like just listening to the music to just get me ready for the games and things like that. And then during my free time, I usually just watch like Family Guy or American Dad or something like that. I mean, I like comedy, so I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah. That's that all right. Yeah, that was like how I meant to ask it. I was trying to see, like, I've never gotten to that question yet, but like I wanted to ask that. This is a good one to ask that on. Now, so I have one more question about the draft process, because last year, so I did like a series. So I started a series last year, prospects, so where I kind of talked to a bunch of guys who were projected to get drafted. And so I didn't find out as much in the process that I wanted to. So I know you went through the process, obviously, but what was the draft process like? And even leading up to draft day, like, did you know like where you were gonna go, like leading up to the draft? Like, did you think you were going 1-1? Like, what was it like to hear your name called to the Diamondbacks? And like, what were you thinking even hours leading into it?
When you, I'm gonna take you back further than that more. So it kind of more starts after so your junior season, like the entire like fall and or the summer and the spring, summer and fall, when all that ends, then you start kind of talking to like scouts and things like that, and you just get to meet everybody, make a relationship with those people, and obviously you don't know who you're gonna get drafted by until the day of. But I mean, just the entire draft process like goes all the way through high school. You just have to perform like at the highest level you can, and obviously like your stock goes up and down based on that. But you never really know where you're going to get drafted to, honestly. Like, I mean, it could have been 1-1. Obviously, like the rankings or whatever and the projections had me at 1-1. But I mean, that's not always true. Like, there's a bunch of other guys out there that we don't even know that probably got drafted this year. Like, I mean, there's probably a couple second and third rounders. I had no idea who they were. They weren't even on the prospect list. Like that, none of that matters. It's more of what the team sees. It's not about the rankings and things like that or whatever. It's only about what the team thinks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that like, for example, Owen Murphy, like I saw, like he went first round, and Owen, I know someone who played against him in high school, like in Chicago, and he's close with me now. He was on the podcast, and he was like talking about the draft process. He was like, "Oh, like you never know." Like he thought he was gonna go, and I forget what round it was, but like
yeah. You really don't know, honestly, until that day, because it doesn't even, not even the day before, nothing like that, like not even that day, like an hour maybe before the draft you might know, but still it's like still up in the air. I knew like when the Orioles picked, that's when I knew, like they called right away, like right after that. It wasn't like I had no idea, like I had to wait until like that pick came. It was kind of like a whole process. But I mean, I'm not going to get completely into what happened.
yeah.
It's kind of like you really don't know. Like I would try and like explain it to you, but I really like you really don't know who you're going to get picked by until the pick is like they're on the clock.
Yeah, were you like waiting? What you were waiting like for the Orioles to call? Like
you're on a call and you're kind of like you don't know like what's going to happen. You talk to your agent and things like that and see like what they think, and then you kind of just have to wait until that pick comes. Like I knew a couple of my friends that had like a deal in, like had some like deals in place with different teams, and then they ended up getting drafted by a different team. So it's kind of like you really never know.
yeah, I know Walter Ford, and he like I don't think he thought that he was going to end up with Seattle like until like I think an hour before.
Yeah.
Like, he and he let me know that the day before he was like, I don't know, like I saw like all the projections. I was like, oh, like day one, like I was watching it, and then he was like, oh, like I'm not sure, and then like I think like 20 minutes before he was like, oh, like I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but it might be Seattle, and then, like sure enough, Seattle got him, and I was like, all right, like wow, like 20 minutes.
You actually really don't know until that time comes. Maybe I think like the longest before you might know is like 20 or 30 minutes before, and then you can get picked. Like you can get picked by anybody. Like teams will tell you like they're gonna pick you, and then they might pick somebody else, and then you're waiting until like the next pick or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean I like the draft. I like the way the draft is. I want to go Seattle this year. That's the plan.
Oh yeah, I forgot it's in Seattle this year. Hopefully, I'll be able to go to that. Maybe we'll get a break for the minor league stuff, and I'll be able to go to the All-Star game this year.
I think I'll be down there with Dan and Leo and some of those guys. So film some stuff down there, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
That'll be sick. Yeah, that'll be awesome. So we got like 50, 55 questions. So we'll go so I made it for our segment rapid fire. We do it with everyone, but usually we go like MLB off season. But since I haven't had like a big guest like this in a while, I was like, all right, let's get some questions in. So you reposting that story got like 60 people to respond. So
I'm ready. I'm good off the top of my head. So let's do it.
So, let's see. Well, I showed you the first one. We're not going to talk about that.
I'm gonna answer the question because everybody asked me to. You got to go to the cleaners where your parents give their like nice clothes to get cleaned, and you have to ask to get your pants tapered, and they will tighten them for you.
All right, so that's how Drew gets his pants on tight.
Thank you.
Max is gonna use that advice. Let's see. When did you start lifting?
I'm not a huge lifter. I kind of more like junior year, probably.
Junior year, okay.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, it's like I never really like got into it. I guess I kind of like got more into it because I needed to gain some strength, but I've never really been into it. If you want to lift, you can. If you don't, then I mean, it's like nothing too crazy, I wouldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here, let's see.
Hey, let me ask one.
All right, Max.
Yeah, so this is from my good friend Eric Rosito. Shout out to you watching this. But thoughts on banning the shift?
Ooh. I don't have a preference personally. I think it's good for baseball. It's going to make the game it's going to give the game a more natural feel. But it's going to be tough for a little bit because you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to hit like significantly better than they did with the shift. So it's going to be a little bit challenging at first, but it'll figure itself out.
Yeah. So I'm going to change this question up. It's from Cole Fox 27. It's the question itself is, what do you eat for breakfast? But I'm going to change it to like, do you have like a fixed diet? Like, what's that?
I do not. I rarely eat breakfast, honestly. I'll probably just get like an early lunch or something like that. I don't like breakfast food. So yeah, but I don't have a fixed diet. I mean, I eat like semi-healthy. I wouldn't say like anything like too crazy. I mean, I'll order in like good food, like that's healthy, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. At what age did you realize that you could really become something special in the MLB?
In the MLB?
Like in baseball.
Well, I mean, kind of like when you're 14 or 15, you kind of like got to start thinking about like what you're going to do for the next level. Cause that's like when you get into high school and that's when you start thinking about your like where you're going to go to college and things like that. So, but MLB 18, like realistically
18. So like last year.
Yeah.
All right. So Max, you have one that you like that you want to ask?
Yeah. How about favorite walk-up song?
Slime Believe by NBA Youngboy, probably.
Well,
I like it.
I'm not a Youngboy fan, but I love that song.
His songs for walk-ups are like good. His vibe for walk-up songs are very good. I like that idea.
I also have Lying for Fun by Yeet. I wouldn't suggest that one. Not everybody can rock that one. It's like you got to be certain, you know. and it was right at the time. It was the right song at the time when I needed to do it. So it can't just be like overused, you know.
Mm-hmm. I get that. All right. So I got 3 more. So how can I track better pitchers while having good timing still?
You can the way you track your pitches better is by having good timing. So when you have good timing, then you can track pitches better. If your timing's off, then you're not going to be able to track pitches. So you just got to make sure to get your foot down before the ball's out of their hand, like to just make sure your eyes are on it and stay level. Don't like drop your head or like try and like lift up to get the ball. Just be on time. Just be on time and everything else will come behind it.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. All right. So here's the one that I wanted to ask you. Are you excited to be a part of the Diamondbacks 2025 World Series championship roster?
I mean, if that's what happens, if I'm with the if I'm on the Diamondbacks roster in 2025, I would love to be a part of a World Series team. That's my ultimate goal and ultimate dream. So if that's the way the plan works out, then I hope that's what happens. But yes, I'm very excited to be a part.
All right. So we'll end it with Nate Schumann. So he asked 4 or 5 questions, but I'll combine one and he said, have a good day, Drew. So I'll start with that and then go, if you had to pick one teammate on your Wesleyan team to play with forever, who would it be and why?
Wow. That's a really good question. I can't single out one of my teammates because I played there for 4 years. So I played there for 4 years and I had a ton of good teammates. When I was a freshman, the seniors took me in like as a bird under their wing with me and Cooper. And I mean, I really appreciate them for that. None of them are playing college ball anymore, but I really can't pick one. I had so many. I mean, I could name a couple names. Like, is that fair? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Charlie Taylor, he's probably going to catch for Tennessee this year. Hopefully, he's probably one of the best teammates I've had, like playing wise on the field and off the field too. But I mean, he's shined obviously every year. Wyatt Copeland, Holden Wilder. I think Wyatt quit baseball, but he was like one of the best pitchers at my school. Probably I think he like holds a record for like ERA in a season maybe. And Holden Wilder is a pitcher at Wofford this year. He took me home my freshman year when I didn't have a car. So I mean he's a really good guy. He's really good on the field. Cooper Blauser, he's at Clemson, shortstop now. I mean, honestly, if I were to pick one, it'd probably be him because we've been best friends for so long. I mean, if I had the chance to play with him again, I for sure would. Bryce Hubbard, he came my junior year. He's from California. He's at Mississippi State now. He's a really, really good teammate of mine. Carson Ballard's at Georgia Tech. He's a pitcher. I honestly I have so many teammates from high school that I had good relationships with that I can't name them all. It's just everybody that I was teammates with. If I could play with all of them again, I 100% would.
So all-time Wesleyan team, just run it back for 1 year.
If that was possible, even the guys that aren't playing college baseball anymore that I played with, I mean, it was everybody. Our whole team bonded so well. That's why we were such a good team, in my opinion. We just had a good relationship. Everybody had a good relationship. We'd go to dinner with each other every night. We'd hang out in the locker room until 11:30 at night on a school night. It was just our team bonded so well that it just made it easy for us to have good relationships.
Yeah, that makes sense. Max, do you have any questions that you want to end on? Do you have anything that you want to end on?
Well, not really a question, but I just want to mention one of my friends and former teammates just signed with the Diamondbacks last year. His name is Santiago Ramirez. I know he's been tearing it up. Tearing it up in your Dominican league. So if you ever see him, I'm sure you're going to be playing with him in the years to come. Max says hi.
I see him in the locker room all the time.
No. Yeah, I'm really good friends with his dad. His dad's my coach, who's also in the MLB. And right. So he was playing on my travel team for a bit. He throws gas. He's a great guy.
I'll tell him what's up because I see him all the time. He's in the same locker room as me. I think he's rehabbing right now on something.
Yeah, I think he's I think he's in New York right now. But
yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. I was so happy you got drafted to the Diamondbacks. And you're gonna be playing with my man Santiago. So
yes, sir.
Yeah. So I guess we gotta catch a couple Diamondback games in our future.
Yeah,
got to. Hopefully, 2025 World Series. So
2025 World Series. I mean, coming from New York, Diamondbacks versus Yankees. We'll be sitting behind the Diamondbacks dugout. But
Yeah.
we'll be there. We'll say what's up to you, but we'll probably be rooting for the Yankees at this point.
That's fine. That's fine. At least if y'all can come, that's all that matters.
Definitely. Now, wait, I saw a question because Max collects baseball cards. This one caught my eye. So it was, will you sign in 2023 with Bowman Chrome, whatever? Honestly, I don't know exactly what that means, but
Oh,
I have the card slips right here. I just need to sign them, and then we can talk about that. It's not a like signing thing. It's just like I have to sign a bunch of them. I haven't got to all of them yet, so hopefully that 2023 pack I'll be a part of.
you think we get one?
Maybe you might have to buy the packs.
All right. I mean, hey, it's worth it. I'll do it. I'll definitely get the pack. We'll figure it out.
You know, you never know, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. That's all the questions I wanted to ask from the fan questions. Thank you guys for everyone who asked questions. If we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. Maybe if we'll do this with Max Clark for Thursday's episode. So you guys could get a chance to be featured with that. But thank you so much for coming on, Drew. We appreciate you. We'll do it again at some point, maybe down after the season.
Yeah.
In Seattle, live episode. We'll figure something out.
You know, maybe. But thank you for having me on, by the way. I appreciate this.
Of course. Anything else you want to say?
To everybody watching, just go out there, have fun, be yourself, play hard every day. You never know when your last game's going to be. So just keep being yourself and play hard.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Max, you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm just really happy you got this episode done. It's really exciting.
Yeah. So, guys, this will be out on Christmas. So my last words will be Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Be sure to watch this. Go tap in on Drew's socials. You guys are all probably coming from there anyways, but, I'll put it in the description. If you guys aren't tapped in with my socials, you guys, that will be in the description too. Go subscribe, like, comment, everything. And we'll be out. We'll see you again on the podcast for sure. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. And that is all we have for you guys.